Hello, I'm Tim Riches from DigitalMe. I'm really excited to be here tonight to launch DigitalMe's new program called Badge the UK, which aims to connect earners of badges with opportunities for employment, for further learning, or with organisations perhaps like the Nominet Trust into opportunities for enterprise as well. I think the prize for turning up today probably goes to the young people. I'm not sure where they are at the moment, but they're from Venture Academy, somewhere at the back there. And they were involved in a badge workshop with us a few months back, and they wanted to come back and design a new badge, a reviewer badge. And I'd just like to say thank you to Ed, who's a reporter from The Spectator, who's come along today to help them design that badge, and we're going to be hearing a little bit about that later. I'd have thought it's a fair guess that most of you are here because you're interested in new ways to accredit skills, and like Jim was saying before, new skills aren't perhaps accredited by the formal recognition system. And I think there is a bit of a momentum building around this. If I think sort of back to the last 10 years in education, there's a few lone voices talking about, people like Sir Ken Robinson talking about creativity, that we need more creativity in the curriculum. Schools like High Tech High, not a local one, one in San Diego, a project-based learning school, incredibly inspiring school to go to. But just recently it feels like there's a kind of chorus of voices building, and you can't go on Twitter without seeing something about 21st century learning. Even organisations from the establishment like the CBI now have just released a new report, and they're saying they're not getting the skills that they need from young people when they join them. So our interest at DigitalMe is recognising skills. We've tried many times in the past to map to different types of curriculum. You may have done this yourself in the past. You spend a lot of time mapping to it, and you think this is going to be great, this is going to go into the school infrastructure, and then there's a change of education department. It's kind of like losing your A&R man if you're a band, you know, a record company, and it goes and the qualification goes with it. So what we've got with badges now is a way to build value ourselves, to build that through endorsement, and they can't be taken away. The badges that you create will stay. So I suppose preparing kids for the future, we don't know exactly what the future is going to be, we don't know what the jobs of the future are going to be, but we think that we're going to need skills around becoming competent producers and creators and confident makers. And I wanted to just mention the Make Things Do Stuff campaign, which is supported by Nominet Trust and Mozilla and Nesta, and we feel very much part of this movement. Part of this maker movement that's encouraging digital makers. So it's encouraging young people not just to consume the web and mobile devices around them, but actually they can do it, and Mozilla is very much at the heart of that process as well with their webmaker program. We're also seeing changes in the curriculum as well. We know that the ICT curriculum is changing, and here's George Osborne at a Digital Maker event just a few weeks ago. I'm not sure what he's doing with that fruit there, but He did give a commitment on the day though, and he said that digital making would be part of the primary and secondary curriculum. So I think we should keep him to that. So when we talk about badges, what do we mean? Doug's already told us exactly what badges are and how they work, and we can use a few analogies. We can use the Scouts or the Guides. You know, when you say to someone 21st century Scouts or a kind of digital Duke of Edinburgh award, people get it straight away, and that's useful. But it's also kind of limiting as well, because it doesn't bring the power of the web into the equation. And I like to point towards the eBay Power Seller badge. It's in a completely different sector. It's got nothing to do with learning. But what really interests me about it is that when you see the Power Seller badge, you don't question it. You don't question its value. And I think the reason for that is because that value is built up by a number of micro interactions which come from a community over time. I mean, sometimes I just buy things without even looking at the reviews. You trust that because it's been built from a community. The second thing that I think is really interesting is it enables relationships to happen. So if you trust someone, you can buy something from them. Now, if we transposed that idea into education, and into badges, it could be incredibly exciting. So if we had communities of trust and learning building around badges, if we had peer assessment around badges, and then if we had badges that built in value over time that employers recognise, then I think we could do something really exciting in terms of connecting young people to opportunities for employment and enterprise and learning. And to me, that is just radically, radically different. Like Lord Jim Knight was saying earlier on, very different from the accreditation system we've got right now. So that's where we're trying to get to. If I was to sum the project up, it'd be something like this. It's connecting, it's the bridging between young people, badge earners, and these opportunities for learning, enterprise and employment. A few things we need to do in order to get there. The first thing is we need lots of choice. Now, the formal curriculum is a content-based, top-down curriculum. If we want learners to be inspired, if we want them to be motivated, we need them to be able to follow their interests in learning, whatever that happens to be, from cookery to coding. So, partnership is very much at the centre of Badge the UK. DigitalMe is not going to create all the badges. We're going to help you create the badges, and there's lots of people here today who we started talking to and working with. It's great to see UCL here en masse. They've started to create all kinds of badges. We'll be hearing from Liberty later. eSkills have already started creating badges as well. So we want to help you to do that. This project is really about working with you to create your badges. And here are some of the people that we started to work with, including Apps for Good, who we're going to help develop some badges, and SSA2, who I know are here tonight as well, and Whole Education, Be Inspired, and various others. So designing a badge can seem a little daunting. There's the learning design to do, and there's a technical side to do as well. Actually, I do think it's a simple process to go through. I don't think it's easy, but I do think it's simple. And we've designed something called the Badge Design Canvas, and we've extracted this from the questions that we had to answer in the process that we went through with the Digital Media and Learning competition. And it's a set of simple building blocks, and if you go through this process and answer a set of questions, starting very much with the value proposition, what is it actually going to mean to a learner if they earn this badge, and then looking at endorsement, how you get that through to channels, through to people, and then what you need in terms of accreditation, pieces of evidence, etc. That will help you create, and including a badge ecosystem as well. How does it fit into the ecosystem? If you answer those questions, then you'll have the basis of the design for your badge. Now, we also need some design tools, and the various tools out there. One of them, we're working in partnership with MakeWaves to create and issue badges. This is a MakeWaves badge designer, which is just launched today. It's completely free to use. It's in beta at the moment. You can design a badge here if you're visually challenged like me. You can design a badge here, you can download it, you can use it wherever you like. So that's just a useful tool. I don't know what the URL is, but there's some guys from MakeWaves at the back who will be able to tell you later. And then we need a badge issuing platform. And again, we're using MakeWaves to do the badge issuing. So it's a platform that has over 4,000 schools on it. It had some investment from Digital Media and Learning, and it allows us to get through to around about 10,000 teachers. So if you design a badge as an employer, as a charity, and you want to get through to that particular sector in schools, then this is a great way to do it. It also has the ability to peer assess as well, so older students can peer assess younger ones, and the e-safety features that we need built into when we're working with this age group. And I was just told today that 100,000 badges were issued during the beta phase of badges on the platform, which is really interesting. So I think that we're going to see just an enormous explosion in badges if the numbers are anything to go by, and all of those can be open badge compliant as well. So that's one of the badge issuing platforms. You may be building your own badge issuing platform, and there's lots of other software out there, but so you need to issue your badges, and once you've issued them you need to display them. And there are a whole bunch of people who are starting to support the open badge standard. You can issue and display through WordPress. You can display badges in Facebook. You can display them in Moodle, Mahara, I believe, as well. We'd love to do a project with Thimble. I believe you've come across that tool, but it's a kind of web maker coding tool, so you could learn coding skills whilst embedding badges as well. And of course, every young person who joins Makewaves also has a badge displaying page as well. So, endorsers, where do they fit into the picture? Well, they fit in really around value and desirability of the badges. So we're really excited to be working with Sue from eSkills because she works for the Sector Skills Council that represents technology and brands, and that's attractive to young people taking those badges. It's attractive to teachers as well. So endorsers are really key. And then finally, we need badge consumers. So they're the people right at the end of the value chain that are going to look at the badge, and then perhaps like they're doing in Sheffield as part of the Cutlers network, the group of companies have come together. It's not a digital badge, it's a paper-based system, but hopefully it'll be badged soon. They've come together, they've agreed a set of criteria. If young people earn those badges, then they get guaranteed an interview with any company in that network. And I'm working on Sue at the moment to try and persuade her network to do something similar, where we get the tech industry to tell us what skills do you really want these young people to demonstrate, and then what can we get back in exchange for you. You're seeing this is sort of metadata you see under the badge that a consumer would see. So more or less finally, we've recognised that there are going to be thousands of badges, perhaps hundreds of thousands of badges. So one thing we're going to need to do is find a way to rate them, find a way to have a leaderboard. Just been chatting to UCL, they're planning something similar in universities as well. So this is a concept at the moment. This is something we're looking at building or co-designing with Makewaves. So basically somewhere where you can rank the badges in terms of user rating, how many times they've been taken, have they been endorsed, all of those kinds of things. So that's something for the future. So just in summary then, with Badge the UK, what we're trying to achieve is allow people to very easily create, issue, discover badges, to earn them, but ultimately it's to bridge this gap between young people and opportunities for learning, enterprise and employment. So just very quickly back to the partnership piece, we'd really like you to get involved. If you want to create a badge, we've got some tools which Lucy will be directing you to later. If you would like to work in partnership with us, please come and speak to us, because we need a whole array of badges in order to make this really work for young people. Thank you.